Hello. So a week tomorrow, I'm going to be starting my Land's End to John O Groats journey. And I feel like now is the right time to show you my kit list. I'm still waiting on one or two bits to arrive. So I haven't received the underwear that I need. I need to pack my food. I say one or two bits actually. I think that's it. I think that's everything. And I have left a couple of bits at home, which I'll insert at the end of the video. So this is the bag that I'm taking. It's the Osprey Wren 65. I want to caveat the start of this video to say I'm not an ultralighter by any means, but at the moment my base weight is 14 kilos, and that is with my camera equipment and also with some food already packed. So the only thing I need to add is breakfasts, snacks and water. For the first sort of 5 days of the trail, I'm going to be basically in a campsite every single day. So because of that, I'm not worried about carrying too much food on those days. So I can't imagine my base weight changing much more. And I also don't really need to carry more than sort of a litre of water on those days. So without further ado, I'll get started. I'll start with what's on the kind of outside of my pack. So I've got my, what are they called? Black Diamond trekking poles, super lightweight. They're the Distance Flex trekking poles and absolute lifesavers. I wouldn't hike without these. So they're the first things that come in with me. I should also say everything I'm wearing is what I'm going to be wearing when I'm hiking. So I've got the Fjällräven Abisko Light trekking tights, the Trespass fleece, and then I've got the Rab 4 t-shirt underneath. And at the moment it's pretty chilly, so I have got my down jacket, but I also have a waterproof jacket and waterproof trousers, which I'll show you in a bit. And then I'll be hiking in my trusty scarpers, but halfway through I will also have a chance to pick up my new walking boots, which I may have to transition into. So we'll see when we're on the hike. Going on to the front of my pack then, I've got my Crocs. These are a new addition after the Cumbria Way. These are really going to be for days where I'm having 0 days and I don't want to wear my boots. If I do any bothies, I can walk around the bothy. Any kind of river crossings, again, great for that. If I just want to like have a day off from my shoes, then I've got the Crocs. Didn't used to be a Crocs person. That's very new for me. On the other side, I've got my Decathlon sit mat. So it weighs next to nothing. It's going to be good when I take a break. Obviously, I have also got the roll mat underneath, and if I was going ultralight, I'd probably get rid of this one. But for convenience, I'm just going to go for this sit mat. I also think this will be really good on parts of the John O Groats section because there's a lot of barbed wire crossings, and what I normally do if there is a barbed wire crossing is I pop this on top, and that just stops things getting torn. So yeah, put that there. Just going to shove it between my shoes because it's quite windy. And then at the bottom of my pack, as you can see, I have got a new addition, which is a foam roll mat from Decathlon. Normally I would take my Z mat, but I was trying to cut down some weight. That Z mat is about 400 grams, and this one is, I think it was like 200 grams, if I'm right. Could be wrong. So that's a new addition. I use that to protect my mat, but I also use it that if I want to do, say, like a bivvy, then I'll put my mat on that outside, and again, that will protect my mat. So again, if I was going ultra light, I'd probably scrap that, but I just like the added layer of protection, and it's going to look after my kit for that a little bit longer. And then just going on to the other side, haven't really got much in here. So at the moment, you're on my normal day-to-day, everyday tripod. That is heavy. So unfortunately, I've made a decision not to take that. However, I will have, this is like a selfie stick for my GoPro because I will be filming the Lee Jog journey. And then this isn't my favourite tripod. It is also another selfie stick, but it is like another handheld tripod, which is much lighter. The reason it's not my favourite is I use this in Australia and smash my phone. So when I do use it, I'm going to be very, very careful. And then the final thing not in my pack is I've bought a new bum bag. Normally I had a bright yellow one, but I just felt really like I had way too much colour going on. So I've gone for a black one, and this will have my compass in it, my phone, some snacks for the day. Just really easy to reach items that I want to get to quite quickly. So going in then to the top pocket of the pack, I have, and I don't remember everything in here, but we'll go through it. So I'm taking a knee brace. Unfortunately, I have a habit of my knee going. So I have made the decision to make sure I've got that on me. Obviously, it is quite heavy, but I'd rather have that than risk not having it. Next thing, this is definitely a luxury item, but I have in here, I've got the map for the Southwest Coastal Path because that's going to make up the majority of my Cornwall side of things, although I am going quite inland at times as well. I've got my compass in there at the moment. And then the bit that's the very luxury item, my bag's going to fall over, we'll just leave it there, is I have actually got this journal from Chelsea, who is behind the camera. And it's my lead jog journal. So I will be journaling throughout the whole of lead jog because I want to remember it and kind of keep that information and just, yeah, remember the whole trip. So it is a luxury item. It isn't light, but I want to remember my trip. So I'm just going to put that in there. And what I will say is everything is pretty much within a dry bag or a Ziploc bag, because one thing I'm not going to risk is any of my kit getting ruined or getting wet or anything like that. Going into the rest of the top pocket then, I have my toilet kit. So this just consists of a titanium trowel, pea cloth, some tissue, and that's about it, to be fair. I do have another toiletries kit inside my bag that also has some dog bags, so I can pack out toilet roll and things. And then I have my first aid kit. This is a very basic first aid kit. There's not too much going on inside it. So I've got some bandages, lots and lots of Compeed, and some medication and things like that. It's a very, very basic first aid kit. And then the final thing in the top pocket is my water filter system. So I've kind of got a two-part system. The first bit is I have some water filter tablets. I'll only need these if the water looks particularly questionable, but for the most part I'll be using my soya squeeze. This is something I've had for years. I trust it, it's reliable, so that's what come with me. And then a new addition is the Knock water filter bag. So I'll put the water in the top of here. The soya squeeze then connects really nicely to the bottom, and I'll use that to filter my water. So yeah, that's a lovely new addition to my kit. So moving on then to the main pockets, I'll just open that. As I said, everything at the moment is stored in a dry bag, and the main one for this is my Osprey. It's a 70 to 100 litre dry bag, so it is too big for my pack, and sometimes that does cause me issues because it balloons out when it's filled with air, and it can make it quite hard to kind of shut my pack, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So inside my Osprey dry bag, I'll kind of go through everything that I've got in here, but this is just, again, another added layer of protection. Try and keep my kit as dry as possible. Okay, so in the kit then, straight away, because I forgot to put this in my clothes bag, I've got a bikini. I know I can swim in underwear and things like that. I just don't want to. And I know I'm going to be stopping for swimming, especially in Cornwall when I've got all the beaches. When I'm in Scotland, I've got all the locks. I'll definitely be wild swimming throughout, and that's also I'm going to wash on occasion. So got my bikini there for me. Next bit is my stove system. I have at the moment, it's all kind of a new kit that I'm using, but this is the MSR Pocket Rocket. I know a lot of people ditch the case to try and save weight, but my preference is to try and protect it so that it lasts as long as possible. So I'm keeping the case. I think for a few grams, for something to last a bit longer, I'd rather have the extra few grams. Probably why my kit's not ultra light. Next thing I've got is the Sea to Summit Aerolite cutlery set. I think it's like 22 grams for the whole set. I know people get sporks and things like that. I do have a spork, and honestly, every time I use it, I hate using it because I don't like the feeling of the fork end bit of the spoon when I want it to be like a fork or a spoon or a knife or whatever. So it's just not for me. But the cutlery set is super lightweight, and it's not that horrible like plasticky feel or overly metal feel, so it's quite a nice cutlery set to use. Then in terms of my stove setup, I have the Optimus windshield, and I have a 750ml titanium pot, and that just kind of sits really nicely in the middle. And then inside that I've got a lighter, so it's a clipper one, and I will be taking one spare. I have the cloth, which normally I wrap my gas canister in this, and then a thing that you put your gas on, stand. So yeah, that's kind of what's going in my stove setup. So the next thing is the Toiletries bag. Now this is definitely filled with a few luxury items that if I really wanted to shave the weight off, I could. And also some of these items I won't actually collect now until I get to Utoxeter. So I'm showing you them because they're in my kit at the moment, but they'll actually be coming out and I'll put it back in Utoxeter. One of those items is smidge. So I pick it up in Utoxeter for the Pennine Way. I realised I could just buy this in Scotland as well. But I feel like when you're in the summer, as soon as you get into the hills, it doesn't matter where you are, the midges come out. The other thing I've got in a bag is some talc. So I've got quite a bit here. This is probably doing me the whole trip, to be honest. Instead of having like talc in a bottle, if you have it in a bag, you can put your foot in and shake it around. I can't remember who started doing that though. I want to say it was Wild Bear that I saw it on, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it's just nice to keep your feet dry nice to keep your feet dry at the end of the kind of evening. Your feet are obviously going to be under a lot of pressure, so you need to look after them. And then last few kind of items, these are definitely not what everyone's going to have, although I fully recommend this one. So this is sunscreen, factor 50. I burn in the winter. I burned a couple of weekends ago, so that's going on every single day. Moisturiser, I get eczema. It's not something that I'm going to leave out of my pack. I did debate it, and in fact I didn't take up the Cumbria Way and I regretted it instantly. Deodorant, a bit of a contentious one because you're going to smell regardless, but if I can make myself smell a little bit nicer, I'm going to do that. Same goes with the razor. If I can just feel a little bit more me, I'm gonna shave. Next thing, just kind of cut down on the weights. I've got some soap leaves and I've also got some travel wash leaves. So these are just a little bit lighter than carrying the main things. Hairbrush. I need a full size hairbrush. My hair's long, it knots. I'm gonna have it. And then like little like things. So I've got wet wipes. I've cut a flannel, makes it a lot lighter. I broke off a toothbrush head. Now, this isn't going to be my toothbrush, although some ultralighters will go to this extreme. It's just clean my nails because, again, on the Cumbria Way, one thing I absolutely hated was I constantly had dirt under my nails and it's not very hygienic. So this is just to get the dirt out from underneath my nails. Doesn't weigh anything, so I'm really not too bothered. Travel size toothpaste. I didn't go as far to cut down my toothbrush, but this was one of the ones that was in a foldy case. So I just got rid of the case and put on a toothbrush holder. Yeah, it's a toothbrush and toothpaste. And then again, I didn't go to the extremes of this, but my nail file broke. So I've just kept the end bit because it's a glass nail file and I'll use that to keep my nails going. So yeah, that's all my kind of luxury, I guess, hygiene items. Again, next up, just going to pull stuff out of the bag. I've got my Sea to Summit Aeros pillow. Absolutely love this. Rude. I just went past, don't know if you heard that. But yeah, this is the Sea to Summit Premium Aeros Pillow. Premium Aeros Pillow. Well comfy. Fully rate that. This is my clothes bag. I've not got loads in here. So I'll be taking one spare jumper, 2 pairs of socks, spare, and obviously I'll be wearing a pair. I'll be taking a thermal top for bedtime and thermal bottom for bedtime. My rule of thumb is I'll have 1 pair of socks as well as these that will not be allowed outside of the tent or outside the dry bag because these are essentially going to be my consistently warm layers and consistently dry layers. So they won't be coming out of the tent. And then because I am going to be hiking in summer, I also have a pair of shorts. These are just the passenger cycle shorts. Again, I'm going to see how I get on with these because I've not worn them on long distance trails before. So if I don't get on with them, when I get to Cheddar, I'll swap them out for a different pair of shorts that I own, which are a little bit more comfortable. And then again, same with this. This is a go-to for me whenever it comes to summer. It's just a top from Spider, which is super, super comfortable. However, I might change my mind and swap it out because it's short sleeve and obviously I want to protect my shoulders. And then the final thing is just a spare bra and some underwear. So that's my total spare clothes for the trip. Next, my bag, my gas. I'm going to take 2 small ones at the start of my trip and just use them up. And then as the trip goes on, I'll get one of the bigger ones instead. But for now, I'm just going to use up what I've already got rather than wasting a load of gas. I've also got a food bag. I had a load of dry meals that I need to use up. So I'll take a couple of those to begin with and I'll always keep one as an emergency ration. And then in here, I've got some spare Ziploc bags for food items that I buy along the way. I've got a plastic spatula because I cannot stand metal on metal. So when I'm cooking, I'll be using that. And then I've also got one of these ultra absorbent sponges. So I think the brand's called Spongy, and essentially they take up loads and loads of water. They're also really good for cleaning your pan. They're good for like kind of drying down your tent if it gets wet. So all around quite a good little cloth to have. Next up, heaviest item in my pack at the moment, and I've tried to think about how I'm going to cut it down, but I can't really cut it down any further. So these are my electrics. So the first one is my Kindle. It's going to get quite lonely in the tent. This is how I'm going to be kind of just keeping myself entertained. It lasts something like 8 weeks battery life. So yeah, better than using my phone. I've also got a plug. Now this is a very new purchase, but I got it from Amazon because you've got 2 USB-C ports and 2 USB ports, and it is a fast charger. And that just means when I'm in hostels and things like that, I'm not carrying multiple plugs, but I can charge my devices. I've decided to only take the one head torch, which is very abnormal for me because I always carry 2 in case one breaks. However, I'm going to have my phone on me. I've got a million different power banks. Well, I've got 2. But I've also got a flexi-tail lantern. So I'm going to take those. I don't need a million different head torches. So yeah, that's my head torch. I'm taking 2 power banks. These are the Anchor ones. So this one's a 26,000 amp, I think. And this one is a 20,000 amp from memory. Both of them do roughly sort of 5 charges. So with all the electrics that I've got, that should kind of keep everything going and charged. I did debate whether or not to not take this one because it's obviously quite heavy, but sometimes my phone doesn't like charging on my old one because it's not a USB-C to C, and also it doesn't hold power as much as it used to. And this one isn't as good as the other one, even though it's got the higher milliamp whatever. So I am taking both just to be on the safe side. Next thing is the flexi-tail that I just mentioned. So I am, again, it's one that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I take it or not. I am taking the mushroom because it just makes the tent glow so beautifully at night and it gives that really homely feel. But this will inflate my mat. Again, if you're ultralight, you're probably not going to want to take this. However, not having to blow your mat up at the end of a long distance hike is the best feeling in the world. It's also multi-use because it does double up as a lantern as well. Next up, I've got my GoPro charger and my GoPro batteries. And I'm hoping my other battery is in here because I should have 4 batteries and there's only 3. And I've also got a couple of spare SD cards. I do pay for the GoPro premium subscription, which automatically uploads everything to the cloud when it's connected to any kind of like Wi-Fi. So I don't have to carry as many SD cards as I think some people end up doing. So yeah, GoPro, charger, batteries. And then the kind of final bits are I've got a self timer for my phone. Obviously I'm doing it solo, it means I can take pictures on like a tripod and stuff. I've already gone through that. And then I've also got my Garmin InReach Mini. So this will be actually strapped to my pack. It's a satellite device, it's a communicator. So at the start of every day, at the end of every day, I will send a message to Chelsea. Chelsea will then know that I've started my hike, that I've ended my hike. It'll also share my location and I can use it to send messages. So for example, when I was on the Cumbria Way and had no signal, I sent a message to Chelsea to say, I'm pulling off the Cumbria Way, it's flooded, it's not safe. This is what I'm doing. So she'll get those messages. She can also track me on my hike. So it allows you to track on the map and they can see where you are at any location. And I will have that enabled so that she knows where I'm at. Okay, I've just changed position. My feet are so numb. So next up is just toiletries bag. I am a female, I have a uterus. Unfortunately, I have periods too. And in that I've also got some doggy bags. So again, I can pack out. Next up is my sleeping mat. So this is the Thermarest X-Therm. I know that I'm hiking in the summer and this is a winter sleeping mat, but I'm not going to go out and fork out a load of money for another sleeping mat. They're very expensive, it's not worth it. Which is kind of the same for my sleeping bag, which I got onto. In here then is all my warm stuff, as in like my hat, my gloves, but also my sun hat. So again, I'll just run through that now. So you wouldn't see me wear this before because it's a complete brand new purchase for the Lee jog, and I've refused to use it until the Lee jog. But this is the acai, I don't know what you'd call it. What's it called? Oh, it's called a botanic hat. So it's a acai botanic hat. It has very helpfully got the thingies underneath, the straps. So if it is super windy, it's not going to blow off. The reason for me going for this hat over a cap is going back to the whole thing of sunburn. When I've hiked in the summer wearing a cap, the back of my neck has actually burnt, and also like the bottom half of my cheeks and things have burnt. So that's just going to protect my neck, and it's going to be a little bit better. And it's very pretty. So I am, here's my acai hat. I think it's acai actually, not acai, but I am an acai outdoors adventurer. So I'll link below a discount code that you can use and a link if you want to go and buy anything. That was not gifted though, I did buy that with my own money. Next up, I'm just laughing as I'm looking at it. So if you've hiked in the summer, you know how bad the midges can get. So this is a full body midge suit because I react to midge bites and they get inflamed and they get infected. So when I get to Scotland, this is the bit that I won't be picking up till Uttoxeter. This is what I'm going to be using. So I've got a midge hat, which that will stay in my main kit, it always does. But it has some trousers, so if it is really hot, I can still be in shorts. It has some gloves, so when I'm packing away the tent, I'm not going to get loads of bites over my hands. And then it has a full body jacket like that. I actually didn't know these existed until I saw Sarah from Fit for Adventure post her Cape Wrath, and she had the jumper, and I was like, that is a genius idea. So yeah, I purchased that. I have taken out the boots though, because I'm not going to use the boots. I'll always have socks or shoes on, so the boots aren't going to come in useful for me. But the rest of it is absolutely joining me on my Land's End John O Groats hike. And then the final bits, I don't think I'll get much use out of, and I'll probably make a decision around cheddar whether or not I don't take them or not. But it's a contentious one because it's safety. And that's just a pair of gloves and a beanie if it gets really cold. But I don't know yet whether or not I'll need them, so we shall see. Okay, so next up is a new item. I would have mentioned it on the coming away, I think, but I didn't get a chance to use it because I pulled off so early. So this is a scrubber, which is essentially a portable washing machine. I have very kindly been gifted it, so I just kind of disclose that now. It's got these little silicone pads at the bottom that when you kind of scrub your clothes, it cleans them. And you can use it multi-purpose if you want to kind of get some water to clean yourself and things like that. But I'll be using that to keep my clothes clean as much as possible, because obviously, as you've seen, I'm taking one set of shorts, one pair of trousers, one top, one spare top, and I'm only going to be taking 3 pairs of underwear, so I need to be washing stuff as I go along to keep my kit weight down. And then there's definitely more in it. So next one is again a brand new purchase, and this is the Sea to Summit Airlight Towel. It's 67 grams for this one, I think, and it's a large one. It's not large enough to wrap around your body, as I discovered, but it's meant to be ultra absorbent and sand resistant. When I've looked at the reviews, everyone's fully rated this, so I figured most hostels and things I'll be able to rent a towel, but when I'm in campsites or when I'm swimming, this will do me. And then I've also got the OEX silk liner. This is really just to keep the sleeping bag clean more than anything, because obviously I'm sleeping in it for 90 days. It's going to get a little bit smelly. And then the final thing in this bag, I think, is my sleeping bag. So I'm not going to get out because it's heavy, but it's the Mountain Equipment Helium 800, and then I've just put it inside this OEX compression sack. Now, the reason I've done that is because the compression sack that comes with the the compression sack that comes with the Mountain Equipment one is a bit rubbish, and it just unrolls itself and then it takes up my whole pack. So this one compresses down a lot smaller. It is also water resistant as well, so it'll protect my sleeping bag even more. So we're just getting to the last part of the pack now. So I store my tent in the bottom. I know a lot of people do store it in the middle of the pack. However, if it's absolutely chucking it down, then you would have to go through your whole pack to get to your tent to put it out, and then everything else is going to get wet. So I personally prefer to keep it in the bottom. It also means that when I'm in my tent, I can pack everything away, put the bag outside, and the only thing I've got to do now is then put my tent into the bottom. So that's where my tent lives. In here as well, I also keep things that are quick to reach, but I don't want them to be near my main pack. And that's predominantly my waterproofs, because I don't want them getting everything wet if it is chucking it down and then it stops chucking it down. So I've got my Rab Zenith Gore-Tex jacket. It's on its last legs. Don't think it'll make it to the end of the lead jog, but we're hoping it will. If it doesn't, my plan is to purchase the frog togs as an emergency, because they're quite cheap, but ideally I want that to kind of last me. I've got the Rab Gore-Tex Mustang gaiters, which for me are an absolute must to just stop things getting in your shoes. And then I've also got the Rab, I don't know what they're called, the Rab waterproof trousers. So again, on their last legs, because I've had them a couple of years now, but hoping they'll last. And last but not least is my tent, which is the Fjällräven Abisko Light tent. It again isn't an ultralighter, but it's not heavy. So it's 1.7 kg. It's a 4-season tent. Now again, you're probably thinking, Cassie, why on earth are you taking a 4-season tent in the summer? And the main part of that is I just don't want to spend any more money buying more tents for the summer, when this one does the job and it does fully ventilate as well. I have used it in the summer. Don't get me wrong, it can get really warm, but I trust this tent in my life. It's brilliant in storms. I've had it in storms before and it's held up. I've now seam sealed it, so I know it's going to last as well. So yeah, I'm sticking with what I know. I'm not going to switch out any of my kit, because you want your kit to last and to really, you want to be able to trust it when you're on the lead jog. So that's kind of everything in my kit. I forgot to mention my bag also has a rain thingy. It's in the bottom, so that's also there. But yeah, this is everything in my kit. The bits that I forgot to bring were the cup that I'm going to be using. So I'm actually going to be using one of the reusable Starbucks cups, because they only weigh 40 grams, which is far lighter than any of my camping mugs. And it also means if I put the lid on it, I'll be able to drink straight from it. I have also got a very small massage ball for my foot. And you can also roll it on different parts of your muscles. Also got a really small, it's like 10 grams, but it's a fold out backpack. So on 0 days, I can still explore, and I have the backpack, but it's also good for campsites and things like that when I'm having a wash. So I can put my stuff into it and then take it into the washroom. And I'm sure I've forgotten something else. I've got, oh, and my hand sanitizer. So I've got some hand sanitizer, which if I have to reduce any weight, that will be one of the first things to go, because I'm quite happy just to use water and let nature take its course. But yeah, that's everything. So I'll be starting my hike on May the 1st. I'll be documenting it here on YouTube as well as on my Instagram, which is Cassie Outdoors. So again, I'll leave a link below for that. If you have any questions about kit or anything like that, leave them below. As I said, I'm definitely not an ultra lighter. There are things I can cut out my kit if I want to make it even lighter. It's not my first through hike, so I know this kit, I trust it. I've used it on other hikes before. And I know for me, comfort is key. So I need to make sure I can rest well. I need to make sure I've got everything that I need. But there will be things that I chop and change along the way. At the end of the lead jog, so around sort of September time, I'll do a reflections on my kit. And I'll let you know what worked, what didn't, what did I change, what didn't I use. And yeah, I'll go from there. So other than that, have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your week.